watching in the group.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. I liked that. Tuesday tunes. I always dance, but you all know that about me already. So I have to tell you before we start our one night mystery that I keep looking out my office window because we're having massive thunderstorms here in Ashland, which is very scary after last year's fire. We've had rain with them for the last hour or so, but there is a slight chance that we could lose power. So if the live just goes dead, I didn't kill the tech guy, nor did he kill me. Although who knows, maybe he will. So I'm giving you a heads up and fair warning on that. I don't know how it is where you are, but we are baking here on the West Coast. We've been in a heat wave for the last few days, and there's really no end in sight. And the heat is usually pretty bearable in Ashland because we're at 2,000 feet. We have that more like desert mountainy heat where it's hot during the day, but if you're in the shade, it doesn't really matter because there's never humidity, but it is so humid, hence thunderstorms. So someone who's from Tampa, Marty, I think is from Tampa. So I'm sure that I can't even complain about our humidity versus Tampa's, but the thunderstorms are scary now because lightning, as we all know, can cause a wildfire. So we do not love that. Yeah, if the chat suddenly stops, there is no mystery. Or is there? Maybe there is. We'll have to find out. We're cooling down from 118. Oh, I can't even. Arizona. That's hot for Arizona too, right? I think I read something that Arizona was like 100 degrees by 7 a.m. I know, right, Helen? I'm with you on that. It is a dry heat, Joseph. Yeah, Marty, I figured it was hot in Tampa. So my aunt lives in Tampa. My uncle lives in Lake Butler, Florida. I was actually born in Gainesville, Florida, but we moved to Oregon when I was 3. But we would go back in summers, and I remember the Florida thunderstorms, just sort of loving that because it would come in and cleanse. But I don't think you have the same issue with the forest right by. So that's the problem. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. I'm so excited for our night tonight. I wore a new t-shirt that the tech guy, this is all part of what's coming next week for the big Mocha launch. We're relaunching new products in the Etsy shop and we're giving a bunch of them away. But I wore this tonight because we're going to write together. Get ready for it. Are you ready? Here we go. Read, write, repeat. That's what we're going to do. Always. That's my mantra. You can see it on my little, I don't know, like light up something or other. Is on that side. It's on that side. Paula says you've been having a lot of storms. Oh, a tornado. Yeah, we don't have that either. So that's occasionally, but not usually. Oh, Toy, it's not as bad in Southern California. Yeah, dry and hot. Yes, I know. Okay, so for tonight, we are going to write a mystery together here live. We have done this before. It's coming your way. Going to be ready next week. Stay tuned. It is going to be a slogan on a mug too. Yes, a mug, a sticker, you name it, a book bag, whatever you want. It's happening. And it's such a good, let me just show you again. It's read, write, repeat. Like we all need to do that. We read, we write, we repeat. Even if you don't want to write for a profession, I just think it's so important to write in general. As someone who grew up journaling and writing terrible poetry, I think there's something so cathartic about the process of writing, which is why you've been miserable here. It got down to 40 last night. What? Wow, that's chilly. Wow, that's impressive. All the heat talk. Alma, I need an iced coffee too. I should have had an iced coffee. I have my iced water. The tech guy has a beer. I could have done that too, but what was I going to say? Oh, okay. So we have done this before. I never know how this is going to go. It could be a total disaster, but it's always fun, which is the whole point. My whole goal is always just to connect. Oh, that was a big one. To connect with all of you and spread some joy in the form of delicious murder. So before we do anything, let's recap. We had our brainstorming session last week. You guys came up with some of the most amazing ideas. In fact, I seriously am like, oh, I want to use this for a future book. Okay, so our title tonight is Grounds for Murder. We're doing a coffee-themed book. It is fall, so we can all imagine we've got all the fall vibes going, even though we're sweating, which is actually great because usually when I'm writing a book, I'm in the wrong season. So it feels fitting that we're all just sweating to death and we're going to pretend like it's fall and we want like cozy apple ciders and blankets. We're going to have a duo this time. We're going to have a teen and a retiree for a sleuth, which I think is brilliant. There's going to be a coffee festival in the park. Our victim is an obnoxious patron, and they are killed by being crushed under burlap coffee bags filled with beans. Oh yeah, the tech guy wants to know if you saw the pic today. I shared a pic. We posed it. It's his hand sticking out from under the burlap bags. Crushed by beans, bean crusher. And then mocha brownies are on the menu, which I'm going to share a recipe for mocha brownies because I have a delicious mocha brownie recipe. So I'm going to need to do that this week. Tracy, you have a margarita. Cheers to that. It is a great title, isn't it? I love it. Okay. So what happened is we all came up with this concept. Great ideas on your part. So many suggestions that I was like, we could just keep going with this for days. And I wrote pages. I wrote an introduction that will get us up to the body. And then the tech guy has a future as a hand model. Don't let that go to his head, Joseph. Come on. And then we're going to turn it over and we're going to write the rest of what happens live together. So, all right, without any further ado, let's get to it. Grounds for murder. I wound my way toward Lithia Park. Oh, I can go like this. Oops. You're going to go like that. Thanks. I wound my way toward Lithia Park with an armload of boxes. Eager excitement pulsed through my body as I passed the lower duck pond where fall had brushed its strokes across the trees. Brilliant red maples and golden oak leaves reflected on the surface of the water. I wanted to stop and drink in fall's beauty, but I had work to do and I didn't want to let the team at Tort down. As a high school student at Ashland High, landing a part-time job working for the most amazing bake shop in town had been pretty huge. All of my friends were jealous, like totally jelly. Everyone wanted to work at Tort, and Jules and her mom Helen were the most easygoing bosses ever. They were always willing to schedule my shifts around my classes, and since today was Saturday and the annual fall festival at the park, it was all hands on deck, including me. I had been assigned the job of runner. Maybe that was because Jules knew that I run cross country and track for the Grizzlies. Go Grizz! Basically, I was in charge of carting supplies back and forth from Tort to our booth at the park. Be sure to wear tennis shoes, Jules had said at our staff meeting last night. You're going to be putting in a lot of steps, Daisy. No problem. My coach will love it. I'm supposed to be hitting a 45-mile week anyway. We were halfway through cross-country season, and I'd been adding miles each week in my goal of trying to run a sub-18 for the 5K. Becky, I totally want to work at Tort too. I wish, if only. Don't overdo it, Jules had cautioned me and two other staff members who were runners as well. Be sure to take breaks, drink a lot of water, and please check in with Mom and me if you need anything. I wasn't going to need anything. I'm getting paid to trek coffee and beans and pastries from the plaza to the open grassy area across from the band shell where the coffee and food vendors were set up. Fall festival was my most favorite time of the year. And not only because the park was basically the most stunning place on the planet, but because there was so much to see. Near the park entrance, there were massive fall displays, a wall of pumpkins, scarecrows arranged like a football team, huge baskets of Rogue Valley pears, and even a corn maze. By the playground, there were activities for kids, face painting, bobbing for apples, pumpkin painting, and cornhole. Food booths and a mini farmer's market took over the parking area across from the band shell, which the police had roped off so that only foot traffic could pass by. Different bands and performers would take the stage throughout the day, but the best part for me was the coffee section. First off, it smelled amazing. Secondly, Tort and the other coffee shops and roasters in the valley were featuring some seriously delicious drinks. Chai-spiced mochas, caramel foam cold brew, and my personal addiction, Andy's cardamom orange pumpkin latte. At the moment, I was in charge of setting up our sweet display with Bethany and Rosa. The boxes I was carrying were filled with mocha brownies, pear crisp, ham and Swiss croissants, and mini pumpkin cheesecakes. I nearly ruined everything when I bumped into an older gentleman who was setting up an easel near the bridge that crossed Ashland Creek. "Oh no, I'm so sorry," I apologized as I clutched the pastry boxes. The top box slid toward the ground. The gentleman caught it just in time. "Wow, you're quick." "Not bad for an old geezer, eh?" He winked and pressed the box back into position. "Quite an armful you have there. Do you need a hand?" "Oh, that's okay. I'm fine. I should have been watching where I was going." He fixed his easel. "Are you a painter?" "Guilty as charged." He nodded at a cart overflowing with paints and paintbrushes. "I'm Harry." "Daisy." "Ah, what a lovely name. My wife was Lily, so I have an affinity toward anyone who's named after a flower." "Does that mean your wife is dead?" I asked without even thinking. Mom tells me that the skill of thinking before speaking will come with time and age. I was still waiting for it to happen to me. Watching Harry's bright face turn solemn made me want to kick myself. "She died 2 years ago now." "Oh, I'm so sorry." "No need to apologize. She loved fall. It was her favorite season, so I like to come paint little vignettes of the fall festival in her memory." "What about you? I recognize that logo." The teal blue and royal red Tort logo was unmistakable. "It's my first job. I'm working for Tort." "Ooh, lucky you." "I know, right?" I tapped the top of the box. "This one that you saved has mocha brownies, and I know that Jules would want you to have one as a thanks." Aw, Lily. Lily, those flower names. "Maybe I'll wander over to the Tort booth in a little while and take you up on that." He returned to his easel, where he began arranging paintbrushes in a glass jar. "First, I have a creek to paint." "Yes, please come on over. I'll repay you for your kindness with a hot cup of coffee and a mocha brownie." I left him and made my way to Tort's booth. It was hard to miss with its twinkling fairy lights, blue and red bunting flags, which wrapped around 3 sides of a large white canopy. Andy was setting up the espresso machine. Sterling heaved large burlap sacks filled with coffee beans. He stacked them on the far side of the booth to create a barrier. "Those smell so good," I said, keeping a tight hold on the pastries. "Where should I put these?" "That's the idea," he said. His blue eyes made my stomach flutter. He was way older than me and had a serious girlfriend, but still. "Bethany, Rosa, and Steph are meeting Jules with the organizers. We're all supposed to be at the 8 a.m. info meeting. In fact, if you can watch everything for 10 or 15 minutes, Andy and I should probably head that way too." "Sure. Yeah, no problem. I'd love to watch everything. I would totally love to watch everything." Was I rambling? Sterling smiled. "Great. Be back shortly. I think you could probably go ahead and start stocking the display case. Steph made labels for everything." He and Andy took off, leaving me completely in charge. I carefully unpacked the mocha brownies and arranged them on trays. "What are those?" A man I didn't recognize came up to the booth and pressed a finger on the pristine glass case. I missed that. Down, Alma, down. What was that for? Oh, I love Andy too. And Sterling, all of them. Mocha brownies, I said. "I'll take 5. Sorry, we're not open yet." "What do you mean you're not open?" His angular face reminded me of a rodent. He scrunched his nose and leaned in closer. Be careful. I'm not sure how stable that is." "I don't need advice from some schoolgirl," he sneered. "Just give me the brownies, girly." "I can't. I don't even have cash. Like I said, we're not open yet. We're getting everything set up. The festival opens in 1 hour. Come to think of it, how did he even get in here? Everyone inside the coffee tent needed to show their vendor badges. He didn't have one, and the public wasn't allowed in until after 9 a.m. "Just give me the damn brownies." I took a step back. His voice sounded threatening. He wasn't going to hurt me over a mocha brownie, was he? I didn't want to know. "Leave her alone, Tom," a voice hollered. I turned to see an older woman holding an industrial bean grinder in one hand. "Thank you," I mouthed to her. Tom whipped around. "Shut up, you old crow!" The woman wasn't even fazed. She marched toward Tom. "Call me whatever you want. I'm happy to have years of wisdom on my side. Leave the girl alone. Go pick on someone your own age." Tom muttered something under his breath and moved on to the next tent. Jamie, he is hangry. Jamie, how was your surgery? Jamie had oral surgery. You're here. That's exciting. Hopefully that means you're feeling better and you're resting. "Don't let him get under your skin," the woman said. "I don't think we've met. I'm Kim. I own Roast Mortem." She pointed across the grass to a black tent, which was decorated like a haunted house. Skulls, flashing lights, blood and gore. The opposite of the harvest feel, like the other happy booths. "He comes into our shop all the time for the sole purpose of causing trouble. I've warned him that if he's not careful, I'll grind him up like these beans." She held the grinder as proof. "I'll keep an eye on him. You watch your back and your front, okay?" "Yeah, thank you." She waved me off. "Don't worry about it." I watched her return to her tent. It gave me the shivers. I've always been a bit of a chicken when it comes to horror movies, which is exactly what Roast Mortem reminded me of. Tom had moved on to our neighboring tent. Hydration, caffeine-infused sparkling waters. They were super popular with kids in school. Cherry Coke flavored water with more than a cup of caffeine that was in Tort's strongest brew. "Look, I don't want to talk about this again. You know you are not welcome here," the owner of Hydration was saying to Tom. "I am done with you." What was the deal with this guy? How had he gotten in, and how did he know all of these other vendors? Tom lunged at the owner, who seemed to be in his 30s or 40s. I could never tell. They all looked old. "You're in trouble, Steve. You know it, and I'm about to get the word out." Tom wrinkled his nose again. "Get out!" the owner, who I assumed was named Steve, shouted at the top of his lungs. Tom let out an evil cackle. "Ha, ha, make me." For the briefest second, I considered filming their fight. This would go viral on TikTok. But I couldn't take my eyes off of them long enough to get out my phone. And since both men looked like they were ready to rip each other to shreds, it was probably a good idea not to have my head buried in my phone. At that moment, Melissa, the mom of one of my classmates who was in charge of organizing the entire festival, walked up to Tom. Melissa was the president of the Chamber of Commerce, a fact that my classmate always weirdly bragged about. Like, who cares? "Enough, Tom. You're not supposed to be in here. I made that crystal clear." She folded her arms across her chest and frowned. "Either you leave right now or I will call security. Your choice." Tom shrugged. "I'll go, but none of you have heard the last of me." Melissa waited for him to leave. Then she turned to speak to Steve. They spoke too softly for me to catch anything they were saying. That was super weird. But I needed to get back to work. I wanted to impress the team and have the pastry trays restocked by the time their meeting was over. Harry showed up as I placed the last pumpkin cheesecake in the case. "I'm glad you came. Can I get you that mocha brownie?" "I won't turn down a Tort brownie." He had brought his art supplies with him. "I heard some commotion over this way. Is everything okay?" Yeah, this super weird guy Tom was giving me grief about not being open, and then he got into it with a couple of vendors. "Oh, I know Tom," Harry shook his head. "He's not someone you want to align yourself with." "I wasn't planning to," I replied. "To be honest, he gives me the creeps." Harry nodded. "Good. That means your intuition is strong. Must be because you're named after a flower." He winked. "How do you know Tom?" "I don't know him personally, but I've done some work as a sketch artist for the police over the years, and let's just say that Tom has been a frequent visitor to the police station." A sketch artist? How cool. I liked Harry's energy. He was like the grandpa I always wanted. Why? I asked. Arrests. Multiple arrests. Harry took a bite of the mocha brownie. This is good. He thought for a minute. Tom is also notorious for making false accusations, usually at other business owners. He's tried to sue at least 10, maybe 12 different coffee shops and restaurants in the valley. Sue? Yeah, he lifted the brownie to his mouth. Take this, for example. He employs a bunch of schemes, like claiming there was a broken piece of glass or a nut allergen in baked goods. Completely untrue, of course. Then he takes the restaurant to court. I can't remember, but a couple years ago, he tried to sue a coffee shop for $1 million, claiming that he choked on a walnut in a muffin, which caused permanent damage to his esophagus. Like, for real? Harry made an X over his chest. Scout's honor. Wow, I'm really glad I didn't give him any of our brownies. He wanted 5. I wonder, was that his plan? Could be. Harry finished his mocha treat. I'm glad you didn't for my sake, too. I might need to buy the rest of that tray. I grinned. Actually, I was hoping to paint this scene before it gets too busy. What do you say? Sure, I bet Jules would love that. He set up his easel nearby. I stacked the empty boxes and waited for everyone to return. Once they did, I spent the rest of the morning running from the park to the bake shop and back again and again and again. It was exhausting, but fun. When it was finally time for a lunch break, I spotted Harry sitting on a shady bench near the duck pond. Do you mind if I join you? No, go ahead. He patted the seat next to him. I offered him half of the sack lunch that Jules had made for all of us on staff. No, you go ahead. I've already eaten. But I'm glad you found me because there's something I want to show you. What's that? I unwrapped a turkey brie and pear sandwich. He leafed through his sketchbook until he found the page he was looking for. This. I glanced at the sketch. It was me. Harry had captured me in mid-stride, balancing stacks of tort boxes, my ponytail swinging behind me, and the light captured the gorgeous fall colors around me. OMG, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. You painted me? Zipping through the park with your speedy pastry deliveries. It needs a clever name, though. I haven't quite figured that out yet. Would you like it? I would love it, I gush. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's not quite finished, but it should be done by the end of the day. That is so awesome, like seriously awesome. I've never had anyone paint me before. Harry's smile was wide. You make a good subject, those fast feet. I finished my lunch and we agreed to meet up at the tort booth later. My fast feet were put to the test as the day wore on. Not only did I need to continually restock, but then we moved into cleanup mode. There were tons of things to cart back to tort. My feet were sore and my arms ached as dusk started to fall on the park. Most of the tents had been put away, but there were still the big burlap coffee bags to deal with, and the espresso machine and pastry case to wheel back to tort. Jules and Bethany loaded the espresso machine, while Andy and Sterling maneuvered the pastry case. I felt bad standing around and watching them work, so I decided to see if I could lift any of the burlap bags. They were heavy no matter what, but after a full day of manual labor, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it alone. I had to try, though. I moved to the far side of the tent, bent down to grab onto the corner of the top bag. When I did, I was in for the shock of my young life. I dropped the edge of the rough burlap, stepped away, and screamed, "Help! There's a body!" Dum, dum, dum.
Oh, sorry.
I was paying attention to the thunderstorms.
It's raining.
It's raining. It's pouring. Oh, yeah, it is raining. Okay, that's good news. Yay! All right. There we have it. Grounds for murder. Okay. I'm here. The surgery was Friday. There were issues. You had to go back today. You're feeling much better. Okay, good. The tickety talk. TikTok, very typical, yes. That's right. Yeah, the tech guy is on TikTok with me. If you're not on TikTok, get on the tickety talk. It's super addicting. And obviously, our little sleuth, Lily, would be there. Okay, so much to review. And now it turns over to you. So now I need your brilliant ideas. I hope you were like thinking of what could happen. Jennifer, isn't it a sweet relationship? I love it. Harry and Daisy, they're like best buds in the park with his painting. Okay, so that was our recap. Oh, okay. So first of all, we have our duo. We have our sleuths. We have Daisy and Harry, the dynamic duo, the sweet retiree who does painting. But I think the other important thing to note is that he has kind of moonlighted as a sketch artist for the police. So he has this background information about Tom, even though he doesn't know Tom personally. All right. So there's that. Then we've got our victim, Tom, our like rodent-like, nasally, not so nice Tom, who comes into the vendor area before anyone else is allowed in. He doesn't have a vendor badge. And he's basically nasty to everyone, which is what we want out of this style of a fun, short, quick mystery. And I don't know what's going to happen. I will do a tutorial. That's a great idea. Jamie, I'm on it. That's going to be next. Okay. A TikTok tutorial. Yes, I'm on it. Stephanie says, yay, tech guy caught the dramatic ending. Yes. And then if only we could pan outside, like on cue, the wind, the rain, and like full storm is happening outside. So it's perfect. Yeah, the trees are like, anyway. Okay. What's that? Wait. The tech guy's telling me to wait. Why? Oh, wind. That works for fall too. It's stormy. Okay, suspects. Let's go through. We have 3 suspects. We have the first suspect we meet is Kim. Then we have Steve. And last but not least, we have Melissa. So what I want you to do first is we're going to talk in a little bit more detail about each of those suspects. So let's start with our first suspect, which is Kim. Okay, so Kim owns Roast Mortem, which is a very creepy, gruesome, sort of Halloween-themed coffee tent across from Tort in the park. And she threatened to grind Tom up like her beans in her industrial, that's a good one. So she threatened to grind him up. And what's very interesting to me about this particular interaction is there's got to be some sort of significance as to why Roast Mortem is so different than everything else. So, you know, the way that we've started this, it's like this fun fall coffee festival. I'm getting my iPad out to take notes from what you all are going to put together. So I want you to think about what could be the significance. The grinder sound, yes. Why do we think that Roast Mortem is going all in with like the dark blood and guts when everybody else is like pumpkins and apples and pears and all of that kind of stuff? Tell me what you're thinking on that. Dentist flashbacks is no good. Oh yeah, we'll be careful in the storm. Cheryl, how do we know that Tom was the body? We're gonna assume it. Yeah, we saw his hand. We'll just have to assume that for this one because it's going to be our very short one. This one was like 12 pages that I wrote, and maybe we'll get another page or 2 tonight. Let's see. Annette says the coffee shop Tom. Okay, so yes, Annette, that's a great idea. That we learned that Tom tried to sue a coffee shop for $1 million. So Roast Mortem could be the coffee shop that he sued. This is like, I really am at it now because I'm typing as we go. Tech crazy. Your storm would be perfect for a fair day. Yeah, I know. Yes, it is like our last one that we did. Roast Mortem, keep them coming. Kim has issues with happy thoughts from a deep, dark, secret past. Ooh, that's good. I like that, Helen. coffee shop that Tom sued. Keep them coming. Tom and Kim used to be married. I love that, Laura. Kim's a teenage goth now. That's good, Jamie. Kim is a grown-up teenage goth. Okay. Grown-up teenage goth. Oh, Michelle, that's great. Kim's heritage is from Pennsylvania. Ah, the witch trials. Pennsylvania. Witch trials. Okay. Keep those coming. We're going to move on to the next one, which is Steve. Okay. So after Tom and Kim have their bumping together, we have Steve, who is the owner of Hydration, which is like a coffee or caffeine infused water company. He and Tom, they have like almost a physical threat with each other. They almost get into it, but before they break apart, Tom is going to reveal something. He threatens that he's going to let everybody know. So what do we think that Tom could have revealed? Let's see. What does Tom reveal? Okay, we're still catching up. Kim's heritage. Okay, roast mortem is goth. There are drugs in the hydration drinks. That's good. I love it. There are drugs in the hydration. Every time I tried to type hydration, it would autocorrect. Kim loves Halloween because she's a witch. That goes along with our other idea. Kim is a witch and loves Halloween. In the hydration drinks. Okay. What else do we have? Steve sells drugs. They used to be co-workers, Amy says. Okay. Tom and Steve used to be co-workers. Lily says Steve had an affair with Kim, and Tom knows. That's awesome. Tom knows. Becky, the hype water is decaf. That's great. I love it. That is murder worthy, right? If you are a caffeine drinker. Like cocaine in the Coca-Cola. There you go. Coke in the Coke. How's that? Tom knew that Steve was an accomplice in a few of his scams. That's a great one, Helen. You guys are so good. Did everybody practice? Did you stay up and think about this? Casey says, Steve drove Tom out of business. Yes, that's a great angle. Steve drove Tom out of business. Okay, that gives us a lot to work with. Okay, so let's move on to our suspect number 3, Melissa. Melissa is the president of the chamber, and she is responsible for putting on the entire festival. She comes in at the end and gets Tom out of there, but she also makes it very clear that she has banned him from the festival, and we need to know why. Why did Kim ban Tom from the festival? Kim ban. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? While you guys are thinking on that, because we're always a little early. Toy, Kim likes Halloween because she was raised in a strict religious home. The Halloween was never celebrated. Oh, yeah. She was never... So now she's all in, allowed to celebrate. So she's embracing it. Okay. Jamie, you're already coming up with who it is. It's totally Steve. Judy says Steve and Tom created hydration together. Tom wanted to add a bunch of substances that were dangerous. Ooh, that's good. And Steve is blackmailing him. Yes. Okay, Amy, Steve has a picture of something that Tom did. I like that too. Blackmail again is always good grounds for murder. There you go. Picture of Tom doing. Okay. Let's see. Now we're at Melissa. He was banned for public urination. That's good, Toy. That cracks me up. He had too many coffee drinks, I guess. Marcy says, because he's unbearable to be around. Okay, that works. Totally. We already see he's totally unbearable to be around. Let's see. Alma says, for stealing mocha brownies. Now we're talking tort. For stealing mocha brownies. Okay. What else do we have? Kim and Tom are secretly separated. Oh, that's going back to Kim. Okay, I like that. That's from Alma. Kim and Tom, or no, that's from Annette. Secretly separated. Okay, Judy says Tom knows Melissa doesn't like coffee. Oh, okay. Tom knows Melissa didn't drink. What's that one? You're in trouble. Oh, that's good. That's so bad it's good. Well done, Jamie. Michelle says, banned from the festival because there's a restraining order. Ooh, that allows the police to get involved. Banned for a restraining order. Okay. All right. So that gives us some stuff to work with. I should have said what I'm going to do this time because I know how amazing you all are at this because we've done it a few times, is I'm going to take all these suggestions and write some more pages, and then I'll share the whole thing in the group. So that's my plan for that. Okay, what happens next? What happens next? This is a wide open question. So to recap, what happens thus far is that our little lovely sleuth, Daisy, has just found Tom's body buried under these burlap coffee bags filled with beans. She screams for help. We now kind of have an idea about possible motives and connections for our suspects. What happens next? Let's see. Mel says maybe all three of them killed him because of some past secret. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's always great. That's very Agatha Christie-like. They all teamed up to kill him. I'm putting that one down. Okay, so now we're going into what happens next. The wind kicks up. Da, 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 da. Alma says the artist is a witness. Yes. Okay, so Harry is a witness. He's our sketch artist. Casey, I hope Harry didn't do it. He's in the park too. I know. It might, oh, he didn't like the girl. It reminds him of his late wife getting bullied. Oh, that could be it. Marty says Tom was getting ready to sue another vendor. Oh yeah, totally. Connie, Harry shows up. Yes. Okay. So Harry has to show up because they're going to be a duo. So Harry shows up and he could have witnessed the whole thing too. I love it. He comes to Lily's adding to that. I love this part of brainstorming together because it's like the ideas always build. Okay. So he comes to Daisy's rescue. I love it. Rescue. Everyone comes running, Marcy says. But things are missing. Ooh, everyone comes running to help, but then things are missing. Harry's already painting what he witnessed. I like that. Very nice, Susan. What he witnessed. Let's see. Oh, Harry already. Okay, yeah. He painted. Okay, got it. That's a great. That reminds me of like Louise Penny or something. Who killed him? Yeah, he sees something suspicious in the paintings. Okay, love it. Let's see. Harry offers to sketch the scene of the crime. Jennifer, that's good. Yeah. So Harry and Daisy are our team. So that's so great. Chaos ensues. People run screaming. In a sketch pad, the painting will be watercolor or acrylic, not oil. Okay, good to know. Okay, so that gives us an idea of what happens next. Next, we're going to have Harry run to Daisy's rescue. There's going to be some tie-in with the painting. I love it. Then we need to think about, oops, I went the wrong way. No, that's right. Motives. Okay, now we need to talk through each suspect's motive. What motive do each of them have? And you can just throw these out as you think of them, and I will try to capture as many as I can. Let's see. Chaos ensues. People are running. They find the festival reward check in his pocket. Ooh, yes. They find the reward check in Tom's pocket. All the brownies are missing. Yes, Helen. All the brownies are missing. Jealousy. Jennifer says motives. Yes, jealousy. Jealousy. Marty says Steve is a convicted convict and nobody knows. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Steve has a criminal past. Casey says years of verbal abuse. Verbal abuse, and they've had enough. Had enough. Tom was blackmailing Melissa because she won the presidency by stuffing the ballot boxes. Yes, they've had enough. I can't type fast enough. Tom was blackmailing. Black lying is what my, why would you even say that? Blackmailing wants to autocorrect. Tom was blackmailing. Okay. Melissa for stuffing the ballot box. Oh, how did the bags kill him? Because they're crazy heavy. They're 50 pounds each, so he was crushed underneath them. Okay, what else do we have? It was accidental. The person who was there when it happened freaked out and left the scene. That's always a nice twist. An accidental killing. The person left the scene. Okay. Tom is trying to stage a situation for insurance money and it went awry. Okay. Tom is trying to stage a scene. You guys are so good. For insurance money and it's gone wrong. He's holding something from roast mortem in his hand. That's good. How about the grinder holding, or some like crazy Halloween thing, something from roast mortem in his hand. Okay, Jane says Steve is not who he appears to be and Tom knows the truth. Oh yes, now we're cooking with gas. Steve is not who he says and Tom knows the truth. I love it. Okay, let's see. All right, those are some great motives. Keep those coming, and then we're going to move on to our next one, which is, what do Daisy and Harry do now? It's almost like I knew you all were going to say that Harry showed up. So what happens next? Daisy and Harry have come out together, or have come together. What happens after that? Tom started out hassling Daisy at the tort booth, so maybe there's something to do with Juliet and getting her back. Oh, I like that, Becky. We could loop Juliet in. Tom knows. Tom is trying to get back at Juliet. Marcy says something the bags could have been stacked high as decorations for the festival. Yes, that's how they were stacked. Sterling was stacking them high to build a barrier. I don't know if you remember that part. Sterling, so my vision is Sterling had stacked them super tall to create a barrier on that side of the tent because that was open. So somebody would have just pushed the entire stack down upon Tom's body and then he's out. Let's see. He could be in the witness protection program, Dana says. That's good. Witness protection program. Okay, let's see. Daisy's a suspect. Harry wants to help her. That's good. Daisy is a suspect and TikTok, Jennifer. That's awesome. They just break out into a TikTok dance. Now you're speaking my language. I love it. They use it to find the clues. Has anyone done that? Someone needs to do that in a future book. I will give you thanks for that, Jennifer. Okay, let's see. Casey says they return to Harry's spot and see what his vantage point is. Yes. Harry helps clear her name. They eat the brownies. Alma, yeah, let's be real. There are delicious brownies. What are they doing? They need to eat them. Lily says Harry tells Daisy not to call the police yet, as Steve walks around the corner with an empty coffee bean bag in his hands. Yes, 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 yes. So good. I love it. Now we're getting crafty. Harry tells Daisy, don't call the police. And Steve has an empty bag. How did he get an empty bag? Hi, Alicia. Thanks for joining us. An empty bag. It's a waste of coffee beans. Seriously, Amy, like, come on. All those delicious, like, fresh roasted pounds. Come on. Casey, 20 pounds of murder in a 10-pound bag. That's awesome. Did Steve spill the beans? Oh, ba-dum. I love it, Jerry. Okay, someone finds a voodoo doll with the likeness of Tom. A voodoo doll of Tom. Judy says, Harry tells Daisy what he saw in the picture. Yes. They both see that it's a woman. Okay. See a woman standing by the bag of beans. Toy says Daisy's freaking out because she's never seen a dead body before. Yeah, that would be totally true. And doesn't know what to do. Harry shows up behind her and tells her, do not touch anything. Yes, we cannot touch anything. Okay, good. This gives us a lot to work with. And then who do you think, I told you this is going to be fast and short. Who can we, who can we eliminate as a suspect? Any ideas of who we're going to say is not a suspect? And why? Oh, yeah. And why? Yeah, good point. And why? I like that. My mind is going to the voodoo doll. I can already see like a potential book cover with a voodoo doll. That would be so good. Somebody needs to write that too. Marty says Melissa. Okay, Melissa's our Chamber of Commerce woman who banned him. Not Steve. We already know Steve's done it. Annette says Daisy and Harry. Of course, absolutely. Daisy and Harry, they cannot be our killer because they're going to be our cute little sleuths. So no way. Who do we have? Daisy, yes. The bag of coffee. Toy's all in for it's accidental. Harry. Melissa says she's nowhere around as of yet. Okay, very good. Jennifer says Kim's too easy. Diane agrees, too easy. I see a lot of Kims. Jess says Kim was helping the other vendors. Very good. Okay, so I'm gonna say we're gonna go for Kim. She was too obvious of a suspect. Okay, great. So Kim is out. Okay, then we're gonna say what? So now we have two suspects left because Harry and Daisy. I want to say Harry and David because in Southern Oregon we have Harry and David. I didn't mean that, or maybe Harry and David was in my mind when I was writing these pages. Yeah, probably it's national. That's true. So we have two suspects left. We have Steve and Melissa. Steve is the owner of Hydration, and Melissa is the head of the Chamber of Commerce. We've got Kim eliminated because it's too obvious. It's so dark with her roast mortem, and she's the first one to like kind of confront him and threaten him. So she's too obvious. She's off the table. But we have two suspects left. So one of them can reveal something to us. What do you think that could be? Marcy says maybe it proved that because his own death. He caused his own death, but they don't come right out on the video because it's incriminating about something else. Okay. But the police might focus on Kim. Absolutely, Annette. The police and everybody always focus on the wrong suspect. That's the fun of reading a mystery, right? You have to keep everybody guessing. We as readers don't want to know right away. Let's see. Alma, a TikTok video of the murder appears to go viral. I love it. TikTok is all in. I'm making a note of it because this is the fun of a one night mystery. Why not? TikTok video goes viral. Okay. Melissa is facing bankruptcy. Melissa confesses that she's facing bankruptcy. Okay. Jennifer says, Steve reveals a former conviction for assault. Convocation. Come on. Conviction for assault. Melissa says Tom was threatening her. Okay. Melissa says, Janita, Tom was threatening her, either way, threatening her. Jamie says, can we confuse people with the voodoo doll for a while? It could be on Melissa's person. Yes. Melissa is holding the voodoo doll, which she really found on the street. The vodka doll. Okay, one of them is caught in a messy lawsuit with the victim. They didn't have enough evidence. Diane, are we sure Richard Lord isn't involved? He could be involved, absolutely. The grass. Oh, that's good. Tom and Steve are brothers. Steve and Tom are brothers. Lord hired Tom. Richard Lord hired Tom to cause trouble. I love it. Okay, I love it. All right, that gives us good stuff to work with. Okay, I think we've got two more after this. How do Daisy and Harry plan to confront our killer? How are they going to confront our killer? Daisy. Melissa is tied up in the tent where the vendors met earlier. Oh, so that would eliminate her as a suspect, Michelle. That's good. So Daisy and Harry, how are they going to confront the killer? How will they do that? Confront the killer. The rain is still going crazy out there, everybody. I can't believe it. This is so great. Vodka doll. I know. Everybody needs a vodka doll in their life. Or half brothers. Okay. Oh, Richard Lord. We're going to have to work Richard Lord in because, come on, he's Richard Lord. Why not? On the Ferris wheel with the mocha brownie. Oh, my mic just got flipped. Sorry if that was in your ear. Let's see. With a mocha brownie. Harry won't put Daisy in danger, so the police will be nearby. The police are nearby. Bait the trap. There you go, Casey. You could bait the trap with the brownie. With the brownie. And Harry rescues her. In the Hall of Mirrors tent. Okay, good. Okay, and then we need to know who is the killer and why. Who do you all think is the killer and why? Give me that. Give me your best suggestions on killers. I know. What will Richard wear to a fall festival? Something hideous for sure. It's got to be. I don't even know. Something with pumpkins. Actually, is anyone a Saturday Night Live fan? Many years ago, well, maybe not many. Yeah, it was probably like 5 years ago. They did this David Pumpkin sketch, which went totally viral, probably on TikTok. But there's this pumpkin suit. That's definitely what Richard Lord would show up wearing to a fall festival, without a doubt. Okay, let's see. The suspect is found in the corn maze. I love that, Amy. Yeah, then there could be a chase through the corn maze. I like that a lot. What else do we have? Steve, you're all feeling Steve. Steve is sketchy. He's so sketchy. I love it. Okay, Steve. Steve is winning at the moment. Well, it is not even the moment. We're not voting on this one. Steve. Dun, dun, dun. Casey says all three of them did it together. They hid the fact that they all hate him. Between the three of them, they couldn't find a reason not to do it. That's great. All three of them chased through Shady Steve through the corn maze. Steve, because he was in business with Tom. Melissa is freakishly strong from so much yoga. That's great. Freakishly from yoga. Steve's the killer because he was tired of Tom being so nasty. At the last minute, he chickened and saw the bag of beans fall on Tim. Oh, so like he actually has an out. Steve's wife is the killer. She had enough and watched how he antagonized Steve for the last time. Very good, Michelle. I love it. His motives are all good. Judy says Tom was blackmailing him. Tom was blackmailing because of the watered down water. He chickened. Okay. Tom was, okay. I love it. These are so good. Good twists. Such good twists. Yes, we got to make this into a series. I don't know how we make that happen, but I would love that. Daisy and Harry. I would love to write about them more. Bring it on. Okay. How is the killer captured? How are we going to capture them? We're going to have the killer run to the maze. And then how does the killer get captured? Like Clue with alternate endings. I love that. That's the best, especially for something like this, which is basically like choose your own adventure anyway. Yeah, I know. Harry invites Daisy to Thanksgiving. So sweet. Thanksgiving. Do you all like watching me type as I go? You're actually seeing what it's really like every day in my life. Basically this, except I walk around my office more and I talk to myself more. Thanksgiving. They light a fire in the maze. Okay, fire in the maze. Get the killer out. We have enough plots for many festivals, so each festival is a new Harry and Daisy. Oh, Dana, I love the way you think. Stuck in a pumpkin. Runs into a pumpkin. Harry pushes the hay bales over on the killer. The porky, the old man is actually Harry Potter. Yes. Trips over something. Trips over a pumpkin.
That's good.
What's that? Daisy engineers a confession in the maze. Ooh, that's good. That goes on to the loudspeaker. Loudspeaker. Confession. Okay. I I love it. Freezes when he sees a scarecrow. That's good, Jennifer. Freezes when he sees a scarecrow. Okay. All right, so one more. Last but not least, what's the resolution? What happens at the end? Stalking in the park, a Daisy and Harry fair fest. Good, Casey. That's good. I love it. We could make it happen. I like it. Our weekly serial shorts. And I would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for my bogus sense of direction.
Oh, yeah.
Bogus.
Everybody keeps saying curious. Decided it was definitely Steve.
We did decide it was Steve, yeah. A gang of toddlers. Yes, we did decide it was Steve. I don't know if you heard that from the tech guy. It's too many things going on. They're going to meet again next weekend. I like the way you think, Lillian. More mysteries. Team up to solve more mysteries. Daisy teaches him TikTok. They follow him in the maze. Da, 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 da. This is the start of a beautiful friendship. Andy creates a coffee. Harry. They start a detective agency. I love it. Okay. So good. So good. Paint. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to try to put this together sentence by sentence, and then I will share it out in the group and clean it up from the ones that I chose. Okay, so when we last left off, Daisy yells, "Help, there's a body." What happens next? Chaos ensues. Screams erupt. Harry's a witness. He runs to Daisy's rescue, and everyone comes running, but things are missing. There's chaos all around them. Brownies are missing. There's a voodoo doll of Tom's body lying on the ground, but Harry pipes up and says, "Wait, Daisy, don't touch everything," as people